But I actually want to watch Cops, okay? Until Chud Logic wants to talk to me. We're gonna watch some Cops. That's what I want to do. I want to watch some Cops.
Welcome to Audit the Audit, where we sort out the who
Audit.
and what and the right and wrong of police interactions. This episode covers domestic violence, warrantless entries, and excessive force, and is brought to us by the K-Views channel. Be sure to check out the description below and give them the credit that they deserve.
On
On the evening of September
Warhammer
21st,
3, I have not.
2019, officers responded
What's
to a
up with
domestic violence call in Austin, Texas.
Uh-oh.
Deputy Pereira with the Williamson County Sheriff's Office arrived on the scene and knocked on the door of an apartment where 20-year-old Skylar Leal lived with her boyfriend Eric Ramirez to investigate the call, which was made by one of their neighbors.
Yes, I did, son.
Hey, let me talk to you real quick.
Hey, yo, open
Do you
up,
need
pull
EMS?
up.
Come out here. Come out here.
I really don't want to deal with y'all people.
All right, well, we'll make sure you're okay.
Yo, people. What do you mean by that?
I'm fine.
Hey, yo, I fuck with the way that this apartment looks. I like it how it's got, like, the door here in this nook. That's cool.
1636 County, we're code 4. She does not need EMS. So, what happened?
Nothing.
Look up for me. What's on your neck? What happened?
Nothing happened.
So, I have witnesses saying something happened. So, are you trying to protect him?
No, I just really don't like dealing with
My
y'all.
Discord, not
I don't
yours.
wanna deal with y'all. I really don't.
Okay. So,
I don't need to talk to y'all. I really don't.
do you have your ID on you or anything?
No, I don't.
So, what's your last name?
My left arm. My left arm.
Okay. Where is the guy that allegedly? I mean, we don't.
I don't know where he's at. I don't.
So he left.
He left.
Does he live in this apartment
No,
complex?
he does not.
You don't know which way he went.
I don't know, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you.
1636K94. Victim's advising she does not know which way he went. So were y'all? I'm trying to figure out why your friends called the cops,
What friend?
or your witnesses, whoever was over here that called us.
Okay.
So
We
what?
we got into an argument.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
literally.
It was nothing physical.
Nothing physical.
Where are the marks on your neck from?
We got into my necklace right here.
No, this right here. What is that from?
Does it really matter?
Yes.
It doesn't.
You want to make sure you're okay.
I'm fine. Like literally, I'm fine.
Okay.
I get a rash talking to y'all. I do not want to talk
Okay.
to you, and especially Williamson County. Y'all have a really bad reputation. I've bad
Okay.
encounters with y'all. I do not want
I'm
to
not
deal with
gonna
you.
hurt you.
I know you aren't. No,
Okay,
I
so
really
we
do.
need your cooperation.
I know, and I'm
Do you want to
trying
press
do this.
charges?
I do not.
Okay.
I do not.
Is there anyone else in the
My
apartment
sister
with you?
is here.
Okay, can I talk to her?
Yes.
Okay.
Wait.
You wanna
no.
go get?
No, I really don't want you to talk.
Okay. Well,
It's none of her
if she
business.
wants to talk to me, that I can talk to her.
She does not want to talk.
How
to
do
me.
I know that?
Because I told her that she had nothing to do with this.
Okay. Well, let me try to make contact with her. Do you want to go back inside for the time
No,
being?
I don't. I really don't.
Okay.
It's
Well,
none
then
of-
step over here
No.
for me. So what's the deal?
What is your problem?
I'm
First
trying to
of all?
figure out what's going
I'm
on
trying to
here.
tell you, ma'am. She had nothing to do with this. I called her after because
Who
I
called
want
the
my.
cops?
I didn't call the cops.
I'm asking who called the cops. Guys.
Those people, I don't know.
You don't know them?
I don't know them. Never met those people in my life.
Ms. Leal informs Deputy Pereira that Mr. Ramirez has left the apartment, that she does not know where he is, and that she does not wish to press charges for domestic assault. Domestic violence laws vary widely among states, with state laws differing on issues such as how domestic abuse is defined, the types of crimes domestic abusers can be charged with, mandatory reporting requirements, and whether police officers are obligated to make an arrest. While some states have adopted policies that require police to make an arrest when responding to domestic violence calls or file a report explaining why an arrest is not made, in Texas, it is left to a police officer's discretion whether to make an arrest. Article 14.03 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure states that officers may arrest without a warrant, quote, persons who the peace officer has probable cause to believe have committed an offense involving family violence. Although Ms. Leal stated that she did not want to press charges against Mr. Ramirez, contrary to popular belief, it is not up to a victim to decide whether to pursue criminal charges. When officers investigate the scene of a possible crime, they are authorized to arrest a suspect if they conclude there is probable cause to do so. Likewise, prosecutors can file criminal charges against a victim's wishes if they have sufficient evidence to prove that the offense occurred without the victim's cooperation. Article 5.01 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure, quote, Family violence is a serious danger and threat to society and its members. Victims of family violence are entitled to the maximum protection from harm or abuse, or the threat of harm or abuse as is permitted by law, in any law enforcement response to allegations of family violence without regard to the relationship between the alleged offender and victim. Similarly, Article 5.04 of the Texas Code of Criminal Procedure states that, quote, the primary duties of a peace officer who investigates a family violence allegation or who responds to a disturbance call that may involve family violence are to protect any potential victim of family violence, enforce the law of this state, enforce a protective order from another jurisdiction, and make lawful arrests of violators. Even though Ms. Leal did not want to cooperate with the investigation, it is important to bear in mind that the responding police officers had a duty under Texas law to protect her.
So, I got her name and date of birth. She doesn't want to be cooperative. I see some marks on her neck that might be fresh. She's saying she's denying medical attention. She said she didn't want to talk to us. Sister doesn't want to talk. They live in here. So.
Kick the door in there, copper. Let's see it. Let's kick it open.
So she's like, I don't even want y'all.
Oh, yo, let's not.
We gotta find the guy.
Let's get it
Who
home.
allegedly did this. So she didn't.
You put your boot right there. It just pops open like a mason jar.
Give direction, travel, description, anything. She's like, he left. I don't know where he went.
Third level Dickerson.
Satisfaction. What's up?
So we need to see if this guy's inside your apartment.
Who else is in here?
My sister, no, I really don't.
Deputy Lorenzo Hernandez, who was once featured on the reality show Live PD, arrives on the scene and tries to force his way into the apartment. Ms. Leal protests his attempt to enter
This
while
is
standing in front
illegal,
of the
right?
door, and Deputy Hernandez grabs her by the throat and throws her to the ground. We will
No
discuss the
shot. I need to see the footage. I have to see the footage. No shot. No fucking shot, boys. I don't buy that. Oh, wait, hold up. My bad. I just clicked copy, not copy link. Copy link, thank you. Hold up. Sorry. I have to see this. Oh my god. Hold up. Wait. Hold up. I'm sorry, chat. I have to look at this. Hold up. Oh. So the reason he chokes her is because she like grabs him. Link me? No, I definitely can't link Twitch chat this.
legality of Deputy
Is there even his body cam footage? There is it. I not in the exact altercation. It's just the chicks and her body cam falls onto the floor. So the girl that he's trying to get past into the house of grabs him like on the arms like this. Like I'm grabbing you by your arms, your mid arm, your forearm, or your bicep. Right? He grabs him like this, and then they fucking freak out, and then he just fucking right on the chick's neck up against the wall. Very, very, very not necessary to be done. I understand that there was a very real threat of her being able to possibly pull his firearm, considering the So here, let's see. I can show it, right? I could show this bit.
Ms. Leal protests his attempt to enter while standing.
So
Lorenzo
Your apartment.
Who else is in
when
here?
he tries to go through this door, this is a really big issue that I have with how certain police officers conduct their business. They put themselves in a position where if the other person is to resist, which they might reasonably do if you're fucking breaking into their house, that you now have a fear for your life moment. And they technically do, because here, I'm going to show this bit from the actual video, and hopefully it'll be okay, because you can see what happens here. Okay. So she is right here. He is right on the left, right? And this is where she grabs him. She grabs him by his arms. I'm not going to go any further than this, but she grabs him by the arms, like right here, right, is where she's doing it. What did he expect to happen, right? He is pushing through this person who just said, don't come into my house. He's pushing through them to get inside of the house. What are they reasonably going to do? Probably try and resist. They're in arm's reach of his firearm. I don't want to play it any further because the person gets hurt, but they're within arm's reach. They can easily pull this firearm. So they're going to pull the, I was afraid for my life defense. They're going to do that. We know that they're going to do that. But why? Why not tell her to move away from the door? Force her to move away from the door. Command her to move away from the door before going through. He instead said, no, I'm going to try and be a gigakid and just walk through her. I'm not going to ask her to get away from the door, so that way I don't put myself in this position. I'm just going to walk through her and hope she doesn't lay hands on me.
No, I really don't.
Which is a very inappropriate response.
Lorenzo Hernandez.
So I think the ultimate fault for this altercation is on the police officer, because there is a reasonable way that this police officer could have made it so that way this interaction was impossible. But he didn't want to. He wanted to act like a Chad and just walk through this chick and open her door and just walk into her house.
Once featured on the reality show Live PD, arrives on the scene and tries to force likely conclude that the officers...
Yeah, he'd have to say, step aside while I legally enter your house, please. Yeah, unironically. But that would have resulted in this altercation not happening, even. Hey, ma'am, step aside while I enter your home. Step aside, or, that kind of shit. And then try and make her move. He didn't even try that. He's like, fuck it, I'm just going to walk through you. What did you think was going to happen? Like, honestly. And that's on the cop. By and large, you shouldn't lay your hands on police officers ever, unless you want to get shot. Right? Unless you want suicide by cop, which don't do. Unless you want that, don't fucking lay your hands on a police officer ever. But, ultimately, I blame the cop.
Did have the authority to enter Ms. Leal's apartment. The Fourth Amendment generally requires officers to have a warrant to enter a citizen's home without their permission. However, there are some exceptions to the warrant requirement,
for sure, Reds.
which include authorization to enter to protect individuals, such as domestic violence victims, from immediate harm. In the 2006 case of Georgia versus Randolph, the Supreme Court explained that, quote, no question has been raised, or reasonably could be, about the authority of the police to enter a dwelling to protect a resident from domestic violence, so long as they have good reason to believe such a threat exists. Thus, the question of whether the police might lawfully enter over objection in order to provide any protection that might be reasonable is easily answered yes. Although this case discussed situations where the perpetrator...
Wait, what? No question has been raised, or reasonably could be, about the authority of police officers to enter a dwelling to protect a resident for domestic violence, so long as they have good reason to believe such a threat exists. Thus, the question whether the police might lawfully enter over objection in order to provide any protection that might be reasonable is easily answered as yes. Okay. All right. I was wrong about their legal. I thought they would have to have some kind of warrant or something. But apparently they could just enter your fucking house without you wanting them to. Jesus.
Be reasonable
I didn't
is
know that.
easily answered yes. Although this case discussed situations where the perpetrator rather than the victim...
To be fair, that may be exclusive to Texas. I don't know.
protested the officer's entry, courts often give officers wide latitude to enter dwellings when responding to domestic violence calls. For instance, in the 1989 case of State versus Green, the Supreme Court of Arizona held that because domestic violence calls commonly involve dangerous situations in which the possibility for physical harm or damage escalates rapidly, quote, the call itself creates a sufficient indication that an exigency exists, allowing the officer to enter a dwelling if no circumstance indicates that entry is unnecessary. Likewise, in the 1994 case of People versus Higgins, the 4th District Court of Appeal of California determined that a warrantless entry was justified where officers responding to a domestic violence call were met by a woman who had a red mark under her eye. Even though she claimed she was alone and that the injury was from falling down some stairs, the court found that the officers reasonably believed she was lying and at risk of continued violence. Given Given this precedent, it is probable that a court would conclude that Deputy Hernandez had the authority to enter Ms. Leal's apartment without a warrant or her consent to ensure her safety.
We came here to
Y'all weren't even supposed to go into my apartment. Y'all, with what? I'm literally gonna press charges on y'all.
We have a possible felony.
Possible felony
Yes.
for what? For who? He's not here.
Y'all have a possible felony. That's goddamn right.
I'm telling you.
But you don't know where he went?
I don't know where he went.
Okay.
Like what?
You can understand where your handcuffs right now?
So what happened? We were trying to talk, right? That's all we were trying to do?
Okay, so I'm gonna take
Is there
these
a light in
handcuffs
here?
off you.
How do you turn the light
Are we
on?
gonna be cool if we take these handcuffs off?
The light's not on. It's not on.
All right, ma'am. So I wasn't here with information to relate to you. When we come to stuff like this, we're going to check for safety reasons. Okay, we're gonna make sure he's not here and you're not hiding him. We understand you don't want to.
What would stop the police from faking domestic abuse calls to enter a household ever? Probably some kind of recording of the police call. To my knowledge, aren't 911 calls supposed to be recorded? Or maybe they aren't they recorded? They are, right? So the record of that probably.
Cooperate. We can't force you to do that. We get that. We understand that. But you don't do what you just did. Not when we show up for something like this. We don't get your cooperation. That is what happens.
Yes.
Okay.
Deputy Hernandez tells Ms. Leal that the altercation was a result of her non-compliance and implies that the deputies were within their authority to use force against her. However, a court would almost certainly disagree with Deputy Hernandez's interpretation of the situation. When determining whether the officer's use of force is constitutional, courts must decide whether the level of force employed was reasonable under the totality of the circumstances. To reach this conclusion, courts consider the three factors outlined in the 1989 Supreme Court case of Graham versus Connor, which are, now quoting, the severity of the crime at issue, whether the suspect poses an immediate threat to the safety of the officers or others, and whether he is actively resisting arrest or attempting to evade arrest by flight. In the 2018 case of Darden versus City of Fort Worth, the Fifth Circuit expanded on this analysis, stating that, quote, we have previously suggested that a constitutional violation occurs when an officer tases, strikes, or violently slams an arrestee who is not actively resisting arrest, and that, now quoting again, our case law makes clear that when an arrestee is not actively resisting arrest, the degree of force an officer can employ is reduced. Although Deputy Hernandez was at Ms. Leal's apartment to investigate a report of domestic violence, which is a serious offense, it is crucial to keep in mind that Ms. Leal was the victim and not the perpetrator of that offense. Ms. Leal was also not resisting arrest, as she was not under arrest or even being detained, and she was not posing any sort of physical threat to the officers. While she did protest to the officers entering her apartment, there are many non-violent methods Deputy Hernandez could have employed to attempt to gain entry, instead of immediately resorting.
Why are you single? Bold of you to assume me gaming for 14 hours a day and literally never doing anything else is attractive to someone. If a moderately attractive girl had to live life as an average man, I think they'd kill themselves in 2 weeks tops from lack of attention, lol. This is such an insult thing to say. Oh my god, what the fuck happened, dude? Wait, what did this person do to him? Who is this person? What? Who is this person? I don't know who this person is. Yo, OMG, probably imagine being a man. Yeah, I can imagine my your first day. Wait, what? What do you mean I can't just take pics of myself and post them online and call it work? He's on meth. He's gonna regret that one. All right, that one's gonna get deleted fast. I'm sorry, this is gonna get deleted fast. Okay.
Resorting to force.
I'm
and
sorry.
even if some degree of force became necessary for the
deleted.
officers
For sure,
to enter,
that one's
there is no
deleted.
possible justification for grabbing Ms. Leal by the neck and throwing her to the ground.
I don't know what she did to warrant that. I don't know who that person is. I don't know who that person is. Like, that was such a benign first tweet. Like, the first tweet of, like, bold of you to assume that anybody would want to be with somebody who's like that. Like, can we agree that obviously, like, somebody would probably date you especially if you're a woman playing fucking video games 14 hours a day, right? There's a bunch of people that, right? Like, you'd probably want to, but who cares, all right? people post shit like that online all the time, like attention, like clear attention bait shit online all the time. Like, who cares, right? The fuck, who cares? Why did he come in like, bro, if you were a man, what? I don't know. That's
Under
wild.
these circumstances, it is clear that a court would find the force used by Deputy Hernandez
there has to be
excessive.
more context.
All this screaming.
But listen, like, what? I don't understand what that was. No.
Does not make us stop. Okay. It only makes.
He's hurt that she's flashing her stolen valor of a relationship trouble for a gaming addiction. Nice. Shrooms do care? Yeah, I don't understand what this is.
Us get you secure faster. Okay. Is my understanding you do not want to cooperate, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, we know who he is. We're going to find him eventually. He comes back over here for whatever reason. You're having to call because he's continuing to do what he's going to do. We're going to take him to jail. Understand those circumstances that y'all put yourselves in, and y'all make us have to deal with those issues. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Then Sheriff Robert Shodey ordered an internal investigation into the altercation, and Deputy Hernandez was suspended for 1 day as a result. He was promoted to detective 2 months later. But in January 2021, Deputy Hernandez resigned when former Sheriff Shodey left office after being defeated by current Sheriff Mike Gleason. On May 17, 2021, former Deputy Hernandez was charged with official oppression and assault for the force he used against Ms. Leal. And on September 20th, 2021, Ms. Leal filed a federal lawsuit against Mr. Hernandez and the Williamson County Sheriff's Office. As of the date of this episode, both the criminal charges against Mr. Hernandez and Ms. Leal's civil suit are still pending. Overall, former Deputy Hernandez gets an F for escalating a relatively peaceful encounter into a physical altercation, maintaining an unprofessional and dispassionate attitude, and for needlessly using an unnecessarily high degree of force against Ms. Leal. It was less than 10 seconds between the time that Mr. Hernandez first made contact with Ms. Leal and when he forced her to the ground with a choke. As mentioned earlier, the Williamson County deputies were likely within their authority to enter Ms. Leal's apartment to investigate the domestic disturbance. However, it's difficult to rationalize their method of doing so if they truly suspected that Ms. Leal was a victim of abuse. In October of 2019, the International Association of Chiefs of Police developed a model policy for domestic violence calls. This policy states that officers should take photographs of all injuries of all parties involved in the call. However, none of the deputies did this, despite Deputy Pereira's claim that Ms. Leal had sustained an injury on her neck. This is an important discrepancy in the way that the deputies handled this investigation, because unless the uncensored body camera footage clearly showed Ms. Leal's alleged injury, there is no way to distinguish the injuries that she sustained from abuse and those sustained from being choked and physically subdued by the officers.
Oh, God. Oh, no, dude. Dude, that's so cringe, but it's true. I didn't even think about it. Audit the Audit with the fucking 9 head, bro. Yeah, she's clearly got bruising on her neck, and the fucking goddamn post shit. They're like, hey, listen, what kind of bruising this person had? They go back, they take a look at the person. It's like, bro, half of these bruises came from, like, you. I don't know which is you and which is him, bro. And they're just like, bro. That's crazy, dude. They literally did the human body, human body equivalent of walking up on a crime scene and just pissing all over it and touching everything. It's like, well, okay, which fingerprints are the, like, what, like, okay, all right, listen, all right, I don't know if this is your feces or it's like,
this may
okay.
offer the suspect a legitimate defense if he's ever charged with domestic violence as a result of this interaction. As the deputies were releasing Ms. Leal, Mr. Hernandez made several inflammatory statements that undermined her victim status and essentially blamed Ms. Leal for continuing a pattern of abuse. Mr. Hernandez told Ms. Leal, quote, "Understand that these circumstances y'all put yourselves in, and y'all make us have to deal with these issues. And, quote, we have a job to do. Whether you understand that in the moment, I don't care." Nothing that Mr. Hernandez did was conducive to establishing an environment of trust with Ms. Leal, and it is clear that Mr. Hernandez failed to consider the psychological implications of being a victim of long-term abuse. This interaction highlights the importance of thorough domestic violence training and well-established domestic violence policy within police departments nationwide. As for Ms. Leal, it's difficult to assign a grade to an individual who is clearly suffering from emotional trauma outside the context of this interaction. Considering the information provided to the officers by the 911 caller, it's safe to assume that Ms. Leal had been dealing with a mentally and likely physically taxing situation, and she was under a lot of emotional stress when she initially made contact with Deputy Pereira. The IACP specifically mentions that victims of abuse may respond to officers with...
I got it. All right.